I think that's something that is nice, that is happening right now, is that young people are the ones who are bringing into the conversation the importance of bringing awareness of our heritage background. So I think that we just need to give them the opportunity for them to show the rich cultures that we already have, but we have just forgotten. My name is Susana Calero. I am the operations coordinator of our Barranquilla, or NuestraBarranquilla. I'm from Fundación Corona, and basically my role is to ensure that the operation aspect of our strategy is deployed in the way that we're thinking of it in terms of vision and dreams and inclusivity. And I'm from Barranquilla also, so I've been working in my city for over 10 years in young involvement and in strengthening young people in their abilities to make decisions wisely. So for me, it's a dream to be able to work in such an ambitious project, in such an ambitious vision that seeks not only to improve the well-being of young people in the city, but also the city itself. So that for me has been very inspiring. In terms of how we believe or how we are approaching young involvement in our decision-making process, it has definitely been a process. This has been a process not only for us as a local team, but also for the organizations that represent our Barranquilla in the city, because we're not used to involving, as we call them, beneficiaries in our decision-making process. We are very keen on understanding their needs and their wants, but when it comes to the decisions of the strategies, then that's something that are used to be taking into account mostly in the offices, not in the actual territory. So the first thing that we started doing, or we started understanding, is how can I reach different type of young people? Because of course the universe of young people is very diverse. So how can we include every voice and every social context and economic context? So the first thing was just generating safe spaces for collaboration, safe spaces to talk so that they can trust us. One activity that we did when we started deploying the project in Barranquilla, or this strategy in Barranquilla, was what we called activations. So we went to different neighborhoods, mostly very underprivileged neighborhoods, and we did it with young people that were already working in those neighborhoods to start building those trust bridges. Young people, if we invite them to come to a hotel, if we invite them to come to the middle of the city, they're not going to come, not all of them. So being able to connect with them in their neighborhoods, going to where they usually live, to how they live their everyday lives, was very important to us. So one strategy that we've been trying to deploy is this youth community, which is a youth network in Barranquilla. But now the question is, how do we reach every young people? This inclusive aspect of leaving no one behind. And we certainly have a lot of challenges. For instance, the LGBT community, they still don't trust us. They haven't opened up those doors. And that's something that we need to understand why and how to approach them. I do think it's not an easy or a logic process, and it's going to depend in every city and how young people speak in every city. But it's a thing of trust them and their ability to make logical decisions, be part of this decision-making process. So just be able to trust them and create the safe spaces for them to join. Well, the first thing that we discovered is that the understanding of youth, or of well-being from the voices of young people, for them, is a very holistic aspect. They requested, for instance, healthy spaces for them to speak about their mental health, or safe spaces for them to speak about their mental health. They request a lot of guidance in terms of the decisions they make in their sexual activities. Also, they wanted safe spaces for participation, for instance. And economic inclusion is a big aspect in Barranquilla. And when we asked the same question to city stakeholders, they understand well-being only in an economic inclusion aspect. So they only were able to highlight those barriers in terms of education, in terms of employment, in terms of entrepreneurship, but they never talked about those aspects in terms of their mental health, in terms of how they live the city. For instance, young people really want to be part of the city, and city stakeholders don't really consider that as an important aspect. So I think that the main discovery was understanding that everybody has different perceptions of well-being, especially between young people and city stakeholders. So understanding how to build a bridge between those understanding is something that we see as a challenge in the future, especially this holistic aspect of well-being. It's something that it's not really talked about in our city and in Latin America in general. Maybe in other places also, but definitely in Latin America, it's more on a view of economic inclusion, not the entire holistic view of a person living in this place we call Earth. So that definitely was a big understanding and something that we're working towards too. Well, Colombia is a very rich country in terms of diverse ethnicities. We have over 200 ethnic groups that are secluded from the cities. They're not part of the cities. And when they join the cities, they don't have the opportunities for them to deploy their own knowledge and their cultures. So there's definitely a barrier in terms of acceptance and in terms of understanding our background and our culture. In Barranquilla or in the area, in the Atlantic Department, there's also ethnic groups, and in Barranquilla we have no idea where they are, but they're there. We have a lot of groups, we have palenques. So we have a very rich African background and we don't recognize them and we don't even know they're there. And actually young people are the ones who are bringing that culture into, and that knowledge and that wisdom into the lives and into the activities that we're doing. The palenques are being formed by young people. So I think that the first thing that needs to be happening is just an acknowledgement of that ethnic background and that ethnic wisdom that we already have,